We're in mid to end of July. We're going to go as a body out into the highways and byways and have whatever. We're going to go like, it may be, one of the places I'm considering is up at the Outlook. Have like hamburgers, whatever. And invite anybody and everybody to come. And we will take the church to them, just like they did. We're going to go to them. We're going to go to their areas and start taking service to them. Just like Jesus did, just like the disciples did, just like the way that they did. We'll still have services here. I'm not saying we're not going to. But as I said, the Lord has been talking about it's time we become doers and cast the net. He will tell us where to cast the net. I want you all to be praying, is that where we're supposed to cast the net at? Is it the Cedar Bluff Outlook is where we're supposed to cast the first net at? But this is where we're going to start casting our nets, is we're going to start going out and having services. But remember, no excuses. No excuses. We got to set it together and go out into the highways and byways and start going after the people. We got to start going out. If you'll look, the fields is ripe and ready for picking. And what is every church doing, waiting on them to come through the door? How many is really going out into the fields just like the first church, like the first setup, like Jesus did, and like the disciples to go cast their nets before the people? We're going to have to take the word to them. I'm not saying trying to buy them in, but I'm saying we got to try to get them to an environment that they'll feel comfortable and get them involved into something. And it may be other things, but God is going to show you all, and He's going to confirm to you what we're to do. And it's going to begin, and somewhere around the middle to the end of July is when we're going to have our first service that we're going to cast our nets. Where that's at and when is what we need to be praying. And you be praying that God show you exactly the same thing, if I'm right or wrong. But we're going to have things prepared. We're going to do things to attract people, to get them to come. We're going to take things to present to them. And we're going to make sure we get information to them, if it be tracts or whatever with our church names and things on it, that we may not get them saved that day, but we're going to get seed enough that when a situation happens, they're going to call us. If we got to give them Bibles, what do we got to do? Like I said, we ain't got a tremendous amount of money, but what is money? And I think if you'll agree with me, I think this is what it's going to take. It's going to take work. It's going to take things to go out to get them. It's going to take things for us to use our talents and our gifts and whatever we got to do to slave over hot stoves or whatever we got to do to get people in. Have Kool-Aid or cookies or cake. I don't know what it may be. But whatever it is, God's going to show you over the next 2 or 3 weeks. If you'll diligently seek Him. And we realize that this is the same way that the first churches were born. The first believers were grabbed hold of and the first things were created. This is the direction, I believe, with all my heart, God wants us to go. That we'll start taking our services to the highways and byways. We'll start advertising and bringing forth people. And however many comes, if it just be us at the beginning, that's what we'll do. But I really think God will bring forth the nets full of fishes. If we'll go out into the highways and byways. If we'll go out and do what God is asking us to do. But you study Christ and His ministry. Did He preach in the church much? You study Paul. Did he preach in the church much? You studied him. They went to houses. They went to mountaintops. They went places that God led them. And that's where they cast their nets and they caught thousands. They'd bring in thousands. And however long God wants that service to go on. And however He wants it to happen. But a regular church service is not what I'm thinking it's going to be. I don't. I really don't. But I think everybody's got a role to play in it. Everybody. And don't think it's your, like we said, Even those who think they're least are of necessity. Everybody's important. But this is the lead that I think that God is showing me to take hold of, is to take it out. Take it out of this building and take it out into the highways. Take it out there and cast our nets out there. Cast our word out there. And be there for the people, because you're going to meet people that's been in your situations that you can help. You're going to find out when you begin to talk to people that there's things there that you can help them with. And we'll be able to reach out to them with this and reach out with what God is wanting to do. The building is not the church. The people are the church. Wherever we go, we are the church. And that's what we got to recognize. But just look around and just look around that and see what you think about that. Study about that. And see if that ain't what, like we said, it's going to be like the first church. And then you look at Jesus, like we said. We've talked this before if you don't remember. He said in Revelations 3, you got to overcome the way I got to overcome. And as we said, there's many ways to interpret that, but one way to look at that is you're going to be faced with the same adversities that I was faced with. You're going to have to overcome the way I did. You're going to have to do things the way I did. And how did Jesus do it? He went out into highways and byways. He went to where they went. He went to Zacchaeus' house. He found Zacchaeus and went to him. He took the words of the people. He took the ministries to them. He didn't wait on them to come to him. He went to them. He went to them. But that's what I think that God is asking of us to do. But I encourage you to pray and to seek God and see what you find that He's trying to say. See what He's trying to tell us. But you do remember that when we do go out. Now, in any path that we go, and if you agree with this and you think that this is the right path, and if you don't, you're welcome to tell me I'm dummy and I missed it. I missed it. But do remember that, in Matthew 9, 10 through 13, He gave a forewarning. He warned of these things. He said, and it came to pass, as Jesus sat at meat in the house, behold, many publicans and sinners came and sat down. That's the same one. I'm sorry, that wasn't the one I was going to read. That's the same story. That was the same story. But He warned that be wise as a serpent and calm as a dove or smooth as a dove. When you go out. You got to watch out when you go out. Just be wise. Realize that the serpent, he'll lay paths. We're sent out as sheep before wolves. So they're out there. They're out there. So you need to be prayed up. You need to be getting fasted up. You need to be seeking God on what He wants. Or we can let the nets lay. It's up to us. Too tired to take our boat back out? Are we going to be too tired to take it back out? Are we going to be too tired to cast our nets where He says cast them? Now it's up to us. He's put it before us today. He said, this is what I think the way He wants this church to go. I think this is the path that He wants us to go. And as I said, things will be different. They're not going to be like a genuine, normal, traditional ways that man had done it for years. We got to go out. Because sinners are scared of church. And when you look at how many is being saved, there's a local church that had like 100 saved a year and a half ago. But that church really didn't grow. When you get people saved today in church, you don't keep them. You don't keep them latched in. So we got to get them out there and get them latched in to where they stay. People get saved, but they're not staying. They're not. So that we're doing, we got to get a hold of them, we got to love them, we got to get them in.